The tax deadline is April 15th. That's days away. If you have a W 2 job, a side hustle, an LLC, investment accounts, or just a pile of receipts you never organized, this video walks you through exactly how to file your taxes using Claude Code as your AI tax partner. Step by step, screen by screen. One person did this exact process and turned a $13,000 tax bill into a $6,500 refund. Not because he cheated, because Claude found $20,000 in legitimate deductions buried in his bank statements that he never would have found on his own. Let me show you exactly how to do this yourself in 2 to 3 hours. Before we start, here's what you need. First, Claude Code. You need a paid Claude plan. That's $20 a month for Pro. You can use Claude Code in the terminal, the desktop app, or write on claude.ai/code. All three work. Second, TurboTax, free tax USA, or whatever tax software you prefer. You'll use Claude to guide you through it, not replace it. Third, all your financial documents. We'll cover exactly which ones in the next step. And fourth, 2 to 3 hours of focused time. That's it. No accounting degree, no spreadsheet skills, no prior tax knowledge. Claude handles the complexity. You just follow along. Step 1. Gather every financial document you can find. Here's the complete checklist. Tax forms, your W 2 from your employer. Any 1099 forms. That includes 1099 NEC for freelance income, 1099 INT for bank interest, 1099 DIV for investment dividends, 1099 MISC for miscellaneous income, your 1098 for mortgage interest if you own a home, and your EIN letters if you have an LLC or business. Bank statements. Download 12 months of statements from every bank account as PDFs. Your personal checking and savings. Your spouse's accounts if filing jointly. Any business checking accounts. Most banks let you download these directly from online banking under the Statements tab. Credit card transactions. Go to each credit card company's website and export your full year of transactions as a CSV or spreadsheet file. Capital One, Chase, Amex. They all have an export button. This is critical because Claude will scan every transaction to find business expenses you forgot about. Prior year tax return. If you have last year's return included. This gives Claude context on what you've claimed before and helps maintain consistency, which the IRS watches for. One more thing. Create a single folder on your desktop called 2025 Taxes. Drop everything into it. PDFs, CSVs, tax forms, all of it. No organizing needed. Claude will sort it out. Step 2. Point Claude Code at your folder and give it the right prompt. Here's the exact prompt that works. Open Claude Code and tell it, I need your help filing my taxes for 2025. I file and then say your filing status. Single, married filing jointly, head of household. Then say, I've put all of my bank statements, credit card transactions, tax forms, and documents in this folder. Please review everything and give me a complete tax profile, including all income sources, every potential deduction, categorized expenses, and let me know if anything is missing or if you have questions. Then sit back and watch. Claude will read every PDF, parse every CSV, extract every number from your W 2 and 1099 forms, and build a complete picture of your financial year. This usually takes 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how many documents you have. Step 3. Review what Claude found. After scanning everything, Claude gives you a structured tax profile. Here's what it looks like. First, an income summary. your W2 wages, freelance income, investment dividends, interest income, all totaled up. Second, a categorized expense breakdown. Every business expense sorted by IRS Schedule C categories. Things like office supplies, software subscriptions, advertising, travel, meals, professional development. Third, deduction opportunities. Claude identifies every deduction you qualify for: home office, vehicle expenses, health insurance premiums, education expenses, retirement contributions. Fourth, potential issues. Things like missing quarterly estimated tax payments, unusually large deductions that might trigger an audit flag, or income that wasn't reported on a 1099. And fifth, missing documents. Claude tells you if something seems off. Maybe you mentioned an LLC but there's no EIN letter. Maybe there are deposits without matching income documents. Read through this carefully. This is your tax roadmap. Step 4: Answer Claude's follow up questions. This is where it gets really valuable. Claude doesn't just crunch numbers, it asks smart questions that change your tax outcome. It'll ask, do you have children and how old are they? Because children under 17 qualify for the child tax credit, which is $2,000 per child. It'll ask, what's the square footage of your home office and your total home? Because that determines your home office deduction using either the simplified method at $5 per square foot up to 300 square feet, or the regular method based on your actual percentage of home used for business. It'll ask, did you track mileage, or should we use actual vehicle expenses? Claude will actually calculate both methods and recommend whichever gives you the bigger deduction. It'll ask, did you make quarterly estimated tax payments? Because if you have self employment income and didn't make quarterly payments, you might owe an underpayment penalty. Better to know now. Every answer refines the strategy. Claude updates its running tax plan in real time. Be thorough and honest with your answers. The more Claude knows, the more money it saves you. Step 5: Open TurboTax and walk through it with Claude. This is the magic part. Open TurboTax or your tax software and start the filing process. For every single screen, take a screenshot and send it to Claude. Claude will tell you exactly what to do. On the income screens, Claude tells you which income types to select and the exact numbers to enter from your documents. On the expense screens, Claude tells you which categories to check and how much to enter in each one, pulled directly from your categorized expenses. When TurboTax asks confusing questions, like did you receive any distributions from a qualified tuition program, Claude explains whether it applies to you and what to select. When something looks wrong, Claude catches it. One user found that TurboTax auto-imported a duplicate 1099 DEV. Claude spotted the duplicate and told him to remove it before it doubled his investment income. The key here is don't skip any screen. Screenshot everything. Even screens that seem irrelevant might have deductions hiding behind a checkbox you wouldn't think to click. Step 6: Maximize every single deduction. This is where Claude's total document memory pays off. Because it has read every bank statement and every credit card transaction, it finds deductions you'd never catch on your own. Software and AI tools. Claude scans your credit cards and finds every subscription: ChatGPT, Cursor, Notion, GitHub, Versal, hosting services, stock photos, design tools. If you use them for business, they're deductible. One person found over $2,000 in subscriptions they forgot about. Business travel. Claude cross references your flight purchases with Uber charges, hotel stays, and meal expenses on the same dates. It reconstructs complete business trips and calculates the total deductible amount. One user had $6,800 in travel they didn't realize was deductible. Vehicle expenses. Claude calculates both the standard mileage deduction and actual expenses: gas, repairs, insurance, depreciation. It recommends whichever gives you the bigger write off. Home office. If you work from home, Claude walks you through both the simplified method and the regular method, then picks the one that saves more. Professional development, courses, books, conference tickets, coaching programs. If they're related to your business, they count. Contractor payments. If you paid anyone through Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle for business work, those are deductible too. Claude finds those transactions in your bank statements. Here are the pro tips that make the biggest difference. First, be completely transparent about mixed expenses. If your business and personal spending are on the same credit card, tell Claude. It won't judge you. It needs to know so it can properly categorize each transaction. Second, share your prior year return. This gives Claude context on what you've claimed before. The IRS notices big swings year over year, so consistency matters. If your home office deduction jumps from 0 to 8,000, that's a flag. Third, push back when you disagree. If Claude seems too conservative on a deduction, say so. Tell it why you think something qualifies. It'll adjust while keeping things defensible. Fourth, ask about things you're unsure about. Can I deduct my internet bill? What about my phone? My co working space membership? Just ask. Claude will say yes, no, or maybe with the specific risk. Fifth, ask Claude for next year's recommendations. After filing, say, what should I do differently in 2026 to save more? Claude will give you a list. Separate business credit cards. Track mileage with an app like Everlance. Make quarterly estimated payments to avoid penalties. Consider S Corp election if your LLC income is high enough. These tips alone can save you thousands next year. Now, here's what not to do. Don't use Claude as your only advisor if you have rental properties, international income, trusts, stock options with complex vesting schedules, or cryptocurrency trading across multiple exchanges. These situations have specific tax rules that really do need a CPA. Don't fabricate or exaggerate deductions. Claude will help you find every legitimate deduction, but it won't help you make things up. Every deduction should be something you can back up with documentation if audited. Don't skip the documentation step. For every deduction Claude identifies, make sure you have a receipt, statement, or record to prove it. Claude can help you organize these, but you need to keep them. And don't panic about the IRS. Using AI to help with taxes is completely legal. You're just using a tool to find deductions that already exist. The numbers come from your actual documents. Claude isn't inventing anything. It's just better at finding needles in haystacks than you are. Let me show you what's possible. The person who inspired this video had the following situation: married filing jointly, 2 children, a W 2 job, 2 LLCs, his and his wife, an investment account, a mortgage, and over 2,000 credit card transactions with business and personal expenses mixed together. He expected to owe between $7,000 and $13,000. He had 2 LLCs with no quarterly estimated payments. He was bracing for the worst. Instead, he got a $6,500 federal refund. The difference? $20,000 in legitimate deductions that were buried across his bank statements and credit card transactions. Software subscriptions. Business travel, he forgot about. Vehicle expenses, where actual costs beat the standard deduction. a home office he worked from full time, his wife's LLC expenses, including early deposits in her personal account before she set up business banking. None of this required an accountant. It required someone or something with the patience to read every single transaction and connect the dots. That's exactly what Claude Code does. The deadline is April 15th. Everything you need is sitting in your bank's online portal right now. Download your statements, export your credit card transactions, drop it all in one folder. Open Claude Code. You could save thousands of dollars in the next 3 hours. Links to everything in the description. If this was helpful, subscribe. I make videos on real AI workflows that save you real money. See you in the next one.